Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Inner Peace, Better Health, the podcast where we dive deep into the interconnected world of emotional, mental, physical, and even spiritual peace, and how aligning these can unlock a healthier, more vibrant life. I'm your host, Arick, and today we are about to explore something truly extraordinary. Our guest, Ann Hince, has developed the incredible ability to sense and release physical tension stored in her connective tissue using nothing but the power of her mind. Yes, you heard that right. And if you're already intrigued, wait until you hear how she's literally reshaped her body, grown taller at 58, and brought herself to a place of profound inner peace. So grab your favorite drink, find a comfy spot, and get ready for a conversation that just might transform the way you think about yourself, your health, and your life. Let's get started. And first of all, you're welcome to our show. On behalf of my team and our listeners, you're so welcome to our show. We honor you and you're really welcome here.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
Yeah. And your journey is fascinating. Let's start at the beginning. What was the turning point that made you realize the connection between stored trauma and physical changes in the body?
Ooh, well, I didn't really realize there were physical changes involved at all for probably years on my journey. It was the mental and it was the emotional and the memories that I started with.
Yeah.
It was because I had what I call a business altercation with two other mothers at my boys' school, and they told me I'd done something wrong. And they were these self-confident, self-assured, authority-type women, like really strong
Yeah.
women, and told me I'd done something wrong. And I was this scared mother on the inside. So my
Yeah.
mind just started spinning over and over, what they'd said, what I'd said, what I did, what I could have done differently, just all those different permutations. I could not stop my mind spinning for 3 days. And it was at the end of that I realized, okay, this is not normal. And I
Yeah.
also realized it felt a little bit like how I would react as a child when my dad would tell me I'd done something wrong. So that was the first inkling that maybe something from my childhood was still affecting me. And, that was just emotions. That was just, yeah, it was just emotions and memories. So that's what I had to work on first before I could go anywhere near the physical body.
Wow, that's amazing. And um it's really amazing. Um wow, I mean, physical changes and how it is connected to stored trauma. It's amazing. Can you walk us through the that 15-minute session that changed everything for you?
Yes, I went to a holistic physician, and holistic physicians have more tools in their toolbox. In India, I'm sure you have a lot of alternative type healing, but
Yeah.
it's a bit more rare here. But I went to a holistic physician. I don't remember why I went there, but he recognized I was more stressed than I should be because I was a stay-at-home mother with two young, healthy boys. It all should have been good, but he knew more than I did, and he asked me on a scale of 0 to 10 what my stress level was, and I said 8. And then he asked me why. And it was that question that made me realize, oh, it was finding my mother dead on the bathroom floor when I was 19, which was 2 decades prior to this doctor's appointment. Because I hadn't let go, I hadn't grieved, I hadn't let go of any of the emotions from that event. I just carried on with life. So he knew this technique that was called EFT, that is called EFT, which is short for emotional freedom technique. It's also called tapping. And he tapped with me. We tap on acupressure points, which people might know of.
Yeah.
Tapped on those points as I told the story of my mother's death and me finding her. And we tapped for about 15 minutes. And I was able to relax into that story. And at the end of that time, I realized that I could tell the story in my mind without the tears there anymore. So I had released that energy from the body. And that was the first time that I really realized there was a connection, like that we store those memories and those emotions in our physical body and that we can let them go. So, that was still nothing to do with physical changes. But I had to work through. I went home. I learned how to use the technique myself. I went through all my traumatic memories that I could remember from childhood, the big ones and the little ones, the humiliations, the embarrassments, all those memories that we think of as, emotional, but there is a physical component to them. So I didn't realize at the time that I was tapping into the physical body. I was just working with memories and emotions, and I was becoming more peaceful inside. So that was kind of the first part of the journey.
Right. Wow, it's really amazing, like how just brief moment can unlock decades of healing, just like you mentioned, that there was the undealt trauma that was haunting you, and you did not even know about it, you did not grieve about that trauma. And for
We
our
store it
listeners,
all. We
yeah,
store it all in our subconscious mind,
yeah,
and we have to go and find it to release it.
wow, wow, wow. You have said that mind can reshape the body. Can you share a specific example of how you achieved this and what the process looked like?
Okay, so I'll continue a little bit with my story because it was a step-by-step journey. As I was doing this work, my subconscious mind was opening up, right? So I became aware of these memories and these things I'd stored inside. And as that happens, our self-awareness deepens. So we become aware at a deeper level. So the first level for me was becoming aware of my emotions. Then the next level down, I became aware of the physical sensations underneath the emotions. So if you think about it, when you're feeling an emotion, for example, frustration, you're giving the name frustration to how you're feeling in the moment. And those feelings are sets of physical sensations that you feel in the body. You know, it might be tension in the solar plexus or the stomach. It might be tension in your neck or your jaw. Whatever it is that you call frustration, you can become aware of those physical sensations. So I became aware at that level. Then I worked at that level rather than using the EFT. And eventually I was able to put my awareness inside my body itself. And as I went through this whole process, you know, starting with the EFT, starting with my memories and emotions, I was able to focus more intently. So by the time I was able to focus inside my body, my focus was like a laser beam, and I could focus on a place of tension inside, just focus on it, keep focusing on it, just allowing it to be, not trying to change it, not trying to love it, not trying to make it disappear, just accepting it as it was. I could feel it release. So I would do that over and over again. Eventually, I was able to put my awareness inside my skull, which was different because, which sounds weird to say, but I was close to my ears. So I could actually feel and hear things release. And I could actually feel my skull bones relax. Now, I hadn't known they weren't relaxed before until they relaxed. And I realized, okay, they must have been a little tense. So I'd relaxed. So over time, things have shifted. And I now have the x-rays that show that my skull is becoming more aligned, because it certainly wasn't before.
Wow. Wow. What role do you think belief and consistency play in this transformation?
Consistency is important, or at least will and determination is important, because it doesn't just happen on its own. You have to decide that you want to change, and that's what I did. I knew I couldn't carry on being the way I was, and I was determined to change. So I seeked out how to work through it, and I just kept going and kept going. Belief changes over time. Yeah, beliefs are things that I tapped on. It's like I had a belief that, well, I had all sorts of beliefs, but I believed that I hated myself. So I tapped on that and let go of that belief. So, you know, beliefs are things that can change over time. Definitely can change over time, because I didn't believe any of this was possible before. But now I know it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's really inspiring and it's really mind-blowing. I imagine many of our listeners are thinking, could I really do this too? And it feels empowering yet daunting at the same time. Wow. You have experienced physical growth and alignment at an age when most of us think it's impossible. How does this challenge conventional wisdom about aging?
Well, it certainly does, doesn't it? Yeah, I think we tend to shrink as we get older, which I believe is because we're thinking the same thoughts over and over again. We have the same memories with the same emotions stored inside. And as we think those thoughts over and over again, we tense up and our connective tissue kind of pulls us down and compresses us. And this is reversing that process. Because if you look at photos of someone when they're young and someone when they're a lot older, it tends to be the neck. If you notice, the neck has shrunk. It's much shorter than it was when you were a youngster. And that's what this reverses. It's releasing that tension, releasing that burden that we've been carrying all those years, and allowing ourselves to regain. I mean, I'm taller than I've ever been in my life. So it's definitely reversing that process. Yeah.
Wow, that's so inspiring, and I mean, it gives us all hope that age is definitely just a number when it comes to what's truly possible. Wow. And what would be your response to the skeptics who might think that this is all too good to be true? And how do you balance science and spirituality in your practice?
Yeah, that's tricky, isn't it? For me, the most important parts are having the x-rays. You know, I'm an engineer. I have an engineering background. I was a software engineer. So I like to have something I can show people, some evidence. And the x-rays, to me, the x-ray from 11 years ago compared to the one from a couple of months ago, clearly show that the skull has changed. So I think anyone should be able to see that and realize that it's possible. I have some other physical changes that I don't necessarily feel comfortable saying as much at this point, but I'm sure I will down the road. So yeah, there's definite evidence, but it's hard, right? Because people all have their own beliefs of what's possible, and it sounds unbelievable, but the x-rays certainly help.
Yeah. Wow. You talk about the power of accepting our feelings to find peace. What do you think society teaches us to suppress emotions instead?
I think society teaches that just because it's society. So our parents taught us that, and their parents taught them that, and before them, it just goes back through the generation. So we have to change that. We have to realize that's not actually beneficial. It actually holds tension or dis-ease in the body. So what we really have to do is accept them. It doesn't mean we have to act on the thoughts that we're having or the emotions we're having. We just have to feel them and acknowledge that they're there, because they're just energy that's stuck inside of us. And we don't have to, we don't have to do anything about it, right? If we're really angry with someone, we don't have to go to them and do something. We just have to feel that anger inside of us and allow the energy that we call anger to release from the body. And that's where EFT is such a beneficial tool, because it's free and easy and anyone can learn it. You can do it anywhere. And it helps that energy release from the body faster than not using it.
Yeah. Wow, what an incredible conversation, Anne. Thank you for sharing your journey, your insights, and wisdom, and thank you for being vulnerable with us today. I think we all have learned that power to heal and transform lies within us, and it's just a matter of tapping into it. Wow.
Yes, thank you. Can I just add one little more thing? Because you
Yeah,
mentioned
sure. Please go ahead. Please.
you mentioned how hard it could be for people to start this journey. But the first step is just to start noticing when you're emotional. Just notice during the day what's going on with you. And that's the first step, because until you can be aware of how you're feeling, you can't do anything about it. So just ask yourself during the day, how am I feeling right now?
Yeah.
Give words, answer yourself in words, because it's that going inside and checking how you're feeling that starts the energy releasing.
Yeah. Wow. That's wonderful. I think it's so much that we have learned today, and I think it's just a matter of tapping into that thing, the power to heal and transform that already lies within us. Thank you so much, Anne, for that. And to all our listeners, what's one step you will take today to move closer to your inner peace and better health? Share it with us on social media or in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to check out Anne's book, A Pathway to Insight, and our YouTube channel for more inspiration and practical guidance. Until next time, I'm Arick, reminding you that peace starts within and health follows naturally. Stay curious, stay courageous, and keep growing. See you in the next episode of Inner Peace, Better Health.
you.